BC Place Stadium, where the Eskimos 23-7 at the half, and there are more than just footballs bouncing around here at BC Place Stadium, where they are still celebrating Canada's 125th anniversary. A 140-foot bungee jump by Christine Fraser of Calgary, showing the banner, Happy Birthday Canada 125. This was Christine's highest bungee jump ever, 150 feet. It beats her previous jump of 130. I've seen some daring plays here in the first half, but that is the biggest one of halftime here at BC Place. All right, let's look at the first half highlights upstairs with Chris and Dan.
Kepley thought playing middle linebacker was tough. We've got our feet firmly planted on the ground, Dan. We expected an offensive shootout, but your defensive friends did a pretty good job in the first half.
Taking into consideration all the changes that have been made, some of the injuries have, it's been a very exciting defensive game, and it's the kind of thing that the offense will certainly start to mold as this game goes on, and these quarterbacks get a chance to take a look at the defenses that they're actually playing against.
Well, we've selected as our play of the first half a defensive play with the score tied at 7. Gizmo Williams with the touchdown, Volpe with the touchdown, but here Volpe with the fumble.
Should have never had a defensive guy as a color man, but all of a sudden you see Larry Ruck standing here, cuts and gets away from the block of Sinclair, comes back inside. Volpe is hit head on by Willie Plessett this time. Then the ball is picked up by Jed Roberts, who rambles in with great grace, jumps over the thing, sets up the play on about the 12-yard line. Subsequently, Ham hits Sandusky for a touchdown, and that's the way the ball games is played, and it's very exciting that the offense and defensive teams can count on each other to turn the ball over, and then once they do defensively turn the ball over to Ham, something big happens.
Neither offense seems to be in gear yet. Jim Sandusky, the most reliable weapon so far. It's 23-7 as we approach the second half.
Science rebuilt them.
Begin phase 2.
The government reprogrammed them.
Awaiting instructions.
But all it takes is one memory to awaken them.
Traitor.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren.
I think we lost him.
Are we having fun yet?
Universal Soldier.
Show people. We had trouble in Philadelphia because it got very wet in the setup. I've been worried about this for a long time, and it wasn't working before the show. So I don't get cross very often. I lost my temper and didn't do any harm, actually. In fact, it worked by the time the show came around. 50 guys with hairdryers dried the screens out.
Mike Rutherford, my special guest this Friday in a Survivors of Rock show. Also featured the Neville Brothers. We'll see some Queen, Rush, and Neil Young, and announce the winners of our Lethal Weapon contest. It's all this Friday on Good Rockin' Tonight.
Look at her! You got it! Oh, we got it! A Canadian Wild West tradition for 80 years. The Calgary Stampede on CBC Sports Weekend, Saturday and Sunday. On Witness.
To me, the community is dying out.
When the fish disappear, a small village and its people.
I only got grade 8 when I go to school.
Face an uncertain future.
We're finished.
A Passage from Burnt Islands, Tuesday on Witness. To Adventure, television that travels, Saturday, July 11th at 6:30.
Welcome back to Vancouver as we get set to kick off the second half of this season opening game at BC Place Stadium between the Lions and the Eskimos. The visitors with a 23-7 lead as they kick it off. And again, it's a Mott Field, the rookie cornerback, and he fumbles the football. See if he can recover. He's going the wrong way. Back down at the 5-yard line. Dan Murphy with the stop. And Field, who has been burnt a couple of times and brilliant on a couple of interceptions, makes a rookie mistake there. Here are the halftime numbers. And the clear edge to the Eskimos.
Well, without a doubt here as far as the net yardage, but the big thing is the time of possession. And the big thing between these two plays, also these two teams, is the number of turnovers that have taken place in this first half, along with the number of penalties between the two teams.
Tony Kimbrough starting the second half at quarterback for the Lions. This continues to follow the script of the preseason. Kimbrough in the flat to Trevathan. Kimbrough was brilliant in a preseason game against the Ottawa Roughriders. He came in second half relief for Danny Barrett and threw 3 touchdown passes against the Roughriders. I don't think we've seen the last of Barrett tonight. What do you think, Dan?
Well, I wouldn't think so. I think at this point, maybe Coach Obi has decided to take him off, to let him sit on the sideline, take a look at that Edmonton defense from a perspective of not having to run away from it, and then be able to put him back in with a better perspective of what's happening out there.
Second down, close to 3 yards. Volpe on the pitch, cuts back, and he is hit hard at the 15-yard line by Benny Goods and stopped short of the first down.
Great gap cancellation scheme by the Edmonton defense at this point. Shuts everything off down to the play side on the right side of the offense there, and then allows Volpe to have to cut back. And when you cut back, you meet the trailing guys like Benny Good.
And so the Eskimos' first possession of this second half should be an ideal field position. Caravata again with Gizmo deep. Eddie Thomas is also back as a returner, but Henry Williams has a license to catch anything he can get near.
He didn't have a problem getting near anything.
Here he goes. But good contain there by the BC Lions, and so it will be a little flare up there as Gizmo is heated up over something. He didn't like the way the Lions took him out of bounds, and Dan Murphy may have the toughest job of all, trying to restrain his teammate. There's Danny Barrett over there playing peacemaker. I think Williams is having words with one of the Lions staff.
Well, we'll take a little look at it here as Giz slides off the knee. You can see he really lightens up, and he's just got a hold on him. That's Paul Webmore, the outside linebacker. Still got a hold on him. Giz took offense to that and decided to say a few words to him. Tempers are short here in BC Place.
And Dan Murphy gets Gizmo to safety. Tracy Ham, after a slow start, got this Eskimo offense moving in the second quarter. Play action. And throwing downfield. Just past the outstretched hands of Michael Souls, who came out of the backfield. Donald Miller, the outside linebacker, step for step with Souls. And there are the numbers for Ham. Touchdown passes to Sandusky and Williams.
Respectable numbers for the first half, considering the amount of penalties and some of the areas and overthrown balls that were taking place in that first half.
Second and 10. The Eskimos will operate out of a shotgun that has been misfiring at times tonight. Pass for Ellis, almost picked off, but Remy Trudell could not pull it in.
In the shotgun, Tracy got the situation he wanted, man coverage downfield, plenty of time to throw the ball, and again, as it came right here, the ball tipped off Craig Ellis's hand, the ball off of the carpet, and you can see right there that number 19, Remy Trudeau, almost had his hands underneath it, but it's incompleted. Edmonton will be punting it away.
Glenn Harper has had an edge in the kicking department tonight against Caravata, and this time we'll send it downfield to Darren Flutie. Good kick, Flutie from his 13. And the Eskimos contain him well behind the play. There's a little pushing match, but nothing comes of that.
Salutes the Olympic athletes who found a better way. Whose ideas were so original, there's no going back. 3M pays tribute to Canadian originals with the Olympic Innovator Series. Collect the poster in all 21 cards. 3M, innovation working for you.
This is Phil.
Yeah, we're meeting about 8.
He just got call waiting from Bell.
Oh, come on.
So now, even when someone's on the phone,
Yeah, well, I hope Jen calls.
a second call
Yeah, hold on.
can always get through.
Hello? He's here, just a sec. Gotta go, John. There's a call from my dad.
Now Phil doesn't worry about missing calls. Call waiting, only $4 a month.
Hello. Fred, where did the wings go?
To order call waiting, visit your local Bell phone center or call our summer hotline.
Tom Kite shoots for his second major in a row.
Hit it.
But he's up against defending champion Ian Baker Finch and Fred Couples. The British Open on CBC Sports Weekend, Saturday.
Sarah's father returns.
I can now take Sarah home.
Home?
Will he make her leave Avonlea forever?
But I'm not leaving.
Road to Avonlea, Sunday.
Ron Lancaster told us earlier today that the thing that worried him about this game was giving up the big play. And through the first 30 minutes, his defense did not do that. Pretty solid first half of work for the Eskimo defensive corps. Tony Kimbrough remains the quarterback. Out the flat to Trevathan with some running room. Not a big play, but a confidence builder for Kimbrough and the Lions outside the 40-yard line before the safety Dan Murphy took Trevathan out of play.
Good look right here. Danny Barrett throwing the play out, but you're going to see right at the bottom of your screen was Flutie coming in, and he picked actually the defender that was going to tackle Trevathan at this point, and he was able to get in there as far as Tony Kimbrough.
Kimbrough has his initial first down of the night at the 42-yard line of BC. Looking for Trevathan again, can't hold on the far side of the field. Well, do they miss Doug Flutie so far tonight? They have. What a season average they had, as they set all kinds of records a year ago, and just 71 yards tonight. What did Flutie have last night? 432 and 4 touchdown passes. And
everybody's asking in here, if we traded for him, then what's the guy that we traded for doing on the sideline?
Danny Barrett took the Stampeders to the Grey Cup final, but he has a tough task here. Kimbrough over the middle. There's Trevathan. Close to a first down, but I'm not sure he has it. Wrapped up on the play by Dwayne Odom, the rookie. Let's see where the forward progress
Low angles as Kimbrough sprints out, throws back, and really that would be a mismatch in a zone defense as far as Trevathan working against Odom, the rookie, and he does an excellent job, and Kimbrough does a good job of getting the ball to him.
They give the Lions a pretty good spot here, and that will force a measurement. BC 0-2 in the preseason, and in both preseason games against Ottawa and Hamilton, they fell far behind early, but came back big in the second half to close within a touchdown, and in fact in both games were threatening to score as time ran out, and they certainly hope they can create that kind of excitement in the second half. So it's third down and short, and the Lions will go for it. Behind that big offensive line, Kimbrough should have it, but there is a flag on the play.
Seems to never fail at that time. That defensive guys want to crowd that 1 yard no man's land that they have to respect. At this point, it may have been the call against the Edmonton Eskimos.
Offside, Edmonton line, first down BC.
Was the case, as he does not even establish a number. It was the line perhaps encroaching on that 1 yard, and it's a first down for the Lions at the Eskimo 53-yard line. Two coaches with question marks about their defense coming in. Here's the reverse to Trevathan, and he was taken right into the tacklers. Jim Mills was double-teamed, the all-Canadian offensive tackle, and Trevathan didn't have anywhere to go.
Didn't fool anybody of the Edmonton defense. Comes in there with a reverse to Trevathan. Odoms is outside, does his great job of turning the ball back inside to the pursuit of Larry Ruck. Larry Ruck does an excellent job, shows his speed and a sure tackler.
Tony Kimbrough started his CFL career in Ottawa. 4 years now. This is his second year with the Lions. Second down. He has Flutie, who got away from Damian Lyons for a first down. And Kimbrough's injecting a bit of a spark here.
Maybe caught that Edmonton defense off guard a little bit. You're not expecting him to come and throw a wide side out. Flutie does a good job. Little turn inside, gets a step or two on Damon Island, and then all of a sudden, that Kimbrough is able to throw the ball out there with some authority for the big completion.
First down, 37-yard line of Edmonton. Give to Volpe. And he is pushed back. Lloyd Lewis was there. Lewis, the acquisition from the Ottawa Rough Riders, stops Volpe behind the line of scrimmage.
Great acquisition to the Edmonton defense. Couldn't have come at a better time. Inside handoff, Volpe trying to get behind Big Mills, and Lloyd Lewis is not having anything to do that. As soon as that block comes down, he trails right behind and falls right into the trap play and is able to stop Volpe for a loss.
7-year veteran, 50 sacks in his illustrious career. Start the game with the Eskimos shuttling in some defensive linemen. Kimbrough again, and Flutie just couldn't reach that one. And it will be third down. But this drive started deep. And for the first time in the game, we saw some ball possession offense by the Lions.
A real confidence builder for that BC offense. Again, going back to Darren Flutie, as you see him there, they look alike, they sound alike, they run alike. Darren Flutie, and he gets him isolated out there on Damian Lyons. Again, to throws the out to him and was unable to get it as an incompletion.
There you see the numbers on Wayne Lamley. Utah, but this is his first CFL field goal attempt from 45 yards out. And he's good. 45-yarder by Lamley. And the score now is 23-10.
Another volume purchase of 192 tempos at Rose City Ford, and we're passing the savings to you. Manufacturer suggested price $13,715. Now with Rose City's everyday low price reduction, Ford's value option reduction, and customer cashback, plus our 500 price protection credit, this Tempo GL 4-door is now $98.88. Popular options include air, automatic, and luxury interior. At $98.88, truly an outstanding savings opportunity from Rose City Ford, where we just want to be your number one.
A Country Practice profiles life in rural Australia.
I heard shouting, screams.
Yeah, it was nothing. None of your business. You're trespassing, clear off. Go on, clear off, will you?
What are you afraid of? You're afraid of what your precious little darling is.
Sarah, don't, please!
Hang on to your seat, Kev, because this is going to blow you away.
Catch A Country Practice. It's contagious. Mondays and Tuesdays at 1 p.m. on CBC Television, Windsor 9.
Ear to the crowd. The hottest sounds this summer with Thomas Trio and the Red Albino, Cashton, Leslie Smith Trio, Skydiggers, Dream Warriors, and Crash Test Dummies.
Our instant success, so-called, is quite, shocking.
Bobby Wiseman, Warner McLeod, Marin Cadell, the Rheostatics, Bare Naked Ladies, and more. Ear to the Ground, Monday night at 7:30, 8 o'clock in Newfoundland on CBC.
Welcome back to BC Place Stadium. Well, this is the 100th anniversary of organized football in Canada, and one player who certainly added to the history and heritage of this game is the guy they called Dirty 30, Jimmy Young. And Jim, you played in the decade of the 70s. Would you say that was the glory time, or the glory years for the CFL?
In some ways it was, and in other ways it was the same as now. There were problems, money problems, teams worrying about money, but somehow we came through it, and the 80s got big, and a lot bigger fans, a lot bigger attendance figures, and we're just putting it together again, and it's nice to see the new owners in the league and some upsets happening like Ottawa tonight.
Thanks for your time. Nice to talk to you. Chris?
Thanks, Mark. Dirty 30, one of the great stars of CFL past as Chris Armstrong is dumped as he hit the 30-yard line for the Eskimos. That was a 54-yard drive by the Lions for their 45-yard field goal. And now Tracy Ham back on the field. His lead is 13 points.
Getting back to dirty 30 for a minute there, Chris. As long as he was on the field, he sure kept you interested in the game because you kept your head on the swivel all the time, or else he'd stick it right in your ear hole and put you right out in the nickel seats.
Now, I've heard the same description of our new commissioner, Larry Smith. He wouldn't do that, would he?
Larry Smith has had his moments. The commish.
First down, Eskimos, and the give is to the rookie Pringle. Flag goes down as Pringle is stopped at the 37. And a game of 5. The rookie Doug Hocking with the stop, but this one is coming back on a holding call against the Eskimos.
Holding, Edmonton number 57, first down repeated.
Well, speaking of CFL greats, the GM of the Eskimos, Hugh Campbell, who caught a few passes thrown by his head coach, Ron Lancaster.
What a great pitch and catch team that was.
Tracy Ham has gone over 1,000 completions in his CFL career with his performance tonight. Out in the flat to Gizmo, and he breaks a tackle, and that means he could be trouble, but the Lions stop his progress just over the 30-yard line. Glenn Scribner made the stop on Gizmo.
Giz lined up against Majors out there. Just a quick hitch, and the key to this whole play was the running back Pringle getting out there and making the block on Majors to allow Giz to break back inside. But you saw great pursuit from the BC defense out to nullify that to a minimal gain.
They're the top receivers in this game. Williams on the strength of a 75-yard touchdown pass in the first half. It's second down 11 after the 4-yard Williams pickup, and Ham downfield. Double covered was Gizmo Williams, Remy Trudell, and Chris Major in on the stop.
Big play happened that time that number 37 was Donald Miller, came from the outside linebacker spot. Nobody blocked him, and he got up in Tracy's face fairly quickly, forced him to have to move outside of the pocket a little bit, and he rushed the throw into some double coverage to the Giz.
Chris Major shaken up. But the Lions defense has done its job. They forced the Eskimos into a kicking situation. BC, with a little spark after the drive for the field goal, should get the football in pretty good field position here.
Well, without a doubt, that last series that Kimbrough run as for the BC offense had some positive movement to it, had some progressive first downs, and if the defense realizes that point as far as getting the ball back to them as quickly as possible, then it could be a successful third quarter. He twists his leg back here, as you can see Chris Majors right as he was making the hit on the Giz, but he looks to be okay up walking around. Certainly hope to be him back in the lineup.
That's Bill Reichelt, the athletic therapist of the Lions, who is an Edmonton native. And Harper in on third down to punt. Flutie and Starr are back, and it will be Eric Starr, who inside his 35, and the Eskimos continue their superb punt coverage tonight. Tony Kimbrough goes back in, rewarded for that drive of 3 points for the Lions, and Danny Barrett is on the sidelines in the second half of this game.
Certainly he's got to be standing over there shaking his head trying to figure out exactly what happened. But I know he's the kind of player and the kind of person from the character that he is, that he wants the best for this team. If Kimbrough can get the job done out there, then he's going to be very supportive of him.
Kimbrough fake to Volpe. That was an unusual pass, but Carrasco has it. And has enough for a first down, but there is a flag down on the play. Kimbrough took quite a hit. And he's trying to get up. We may see Danny Barrett a little quicker than we expected. That was not classic passing form by Kimbrough. He kind of shot-putted that ball ahead to Marasco.
That looks like an old quarterback. Roughing the passer. 89 Edmonton. First down, BC.
That pass looked like, I was going to say, one of those old quarterbacks I used to know, Tom Wilkinson. But at the last minute, Leroy Blue comes in. Pretty harmless looking throw down there. I mean, this guy may get an Academy Award for this thing, but I didn't see any justification for a flag there.
But it is 15 yards, and the Lions are back in Eskimo territory as Barrett paces on the sidelines. All the backs out. Kimbrough in the flat, and Clark, who was so reliable a year ago, drops his second pass of the game.
Very uncommon for Clark in this. Comes out of the backfield a little bit, has the good speed and breaks to the outside. Enos Jackson is way behind him. He's wide open, takes his eye and concentration off of it just for a split second, and that's all it takes to make an incompletion.
Well, our focus has been on the Lion quarterbacks tonight, but that's the 5th catchable ball that's been dropped by the Lion receivers, and you don't expect it from Matt Clark. Well, we've got all kinds of movement. The only guy who didn't move there was Lion center Ian Sinclair. But I think the Lions were the first to move. And that is the call.
Ian's at an advantage at that point. His hands on the ball. He's not going anywhere, and no one seems to be going anywhere.
Number 50, still second down.
Until he snaps the ball on that play.
A lot of penalties so far tonight in the first game of the year for these two teams. Look at the Eskimo totals. That's too many.
This will be one category and one stat that Ron Lancaster will be very, very upset with, and he'll go through this with his Edmonton team.
Now 2nd and 15 for Tony Kimbrough. That's showing blitz, and here they come. Kimbrough sprints out, and he's got some running room. Tony Kimbrough caught from behind, near a first down, but short. Willie Pless was on the move, and Kimbrough shaken up.
Just an absolute outstanding effort by Willie Pless, coming on the blitz, up the middle, absolutely leaps over one of the defenders that tried to cut his legs out from under him, misses Kimbrough the first time, and pursues, as we see it right here. Right there, Willie Pless hurdles over him and has enough speed. If he had the containment outside, that was a sack. But you see the determination that he has and the speed that he has. He never gets up, and he keeps after Kimbrough and is able to drive him out before he gets the first down.
That was Dan Murphy, who came from his safety position to apply the finishing touches, and Lamley's back in the game. He made a 45-yarder, and now he'll try one from 48 yards out with Darren Flutie holding. Lamley does not use a tee. Flag goes down. Kick is good. Well, the rookie looked all right on that one, but will it stand? We've got a flag down, and it may be a tough choice for Bobo Vilovich, because this could be a first down if, indeed, it's against the Eskimos.
Willie Pless did come out, and then he ran onto the field right at the last minute. He may have been called for an illegal substitution.
Evidence suggests more and more travelers are switching from one airline to another. And the airline they're switching to is this one. Canadian. The dawn of civilized air travel.
There's a land nearby where whales can fly, dolphins dance, and dragons do cartwheels just for fun. Marineland. It's a land where walruses sing, lions swim, and bears turn circles in the sky. Marineland. A land where giants are gentle. Friends come say hello. And deer play follow the leader. Marineland in Niagara Falls, Canada. More than an attraction. It's pure magic.
We asked the Beaverton bobsled team what they love most about summer. Well, KFC's got something everyone will love this summer. Right now, get a 15-piece bucket of extra tasty crispy or original recipe chicken for just $14.99.
Hey, let's go sit in the shade.
Summertime's always a great time with KFC.
We're back at BC Place Stadium in Vancouver. That score is correct. It remains 23-10. The field goal was good. However, the officiating staff has called an illegal substitution against the Eskimos. The penalty gives the Lions a first down, so the drive continues. And we talked, Dan, about the penalty troubles of the Eskimos. This is opening the door for the Lions here.
It certainly is. Willie Pless was late getting back out there, not realizing that they were kicking a field goal, and he was on the field goal return team. They called him for the illegal substitution. But what a character builder for the field goal kicker of 45 and 48 yards.
Tony Kimbrough rolling left, has Flutie open inside the 15. And OB shakes his head because all of a sudden that's the offense that he was drawing up. 18-yard gain for Flutie.
Got to be quite excited about this as Flutie sets in, sees the zone, sets up, runs away from Willie Pless, the linebacker on the inside, and Kimbrough is able, off balance and off his back foot, of able to throw the ball downfield for a big completion.
First down, Lions threatening with Tony Kimbrough at the helm. Play action into the end zone. Trevathan can't hang on. Kevin Thompson was also there, and it fell between them. It looked like Trevathan just mistimed the jump.
Trevathan did a great job. They took number 76, Thompson, the wideout, ran in deep out there on Lions, and then just broke out Trevathan in the flat, who had beaten Enos Jackson very soundly. The pass wasn't that poorly thrown, and it looked like, as you said, just a mistiming of the jump.
23-10. Eskimos lead with the Lions threatening. They swing it out to Volpe. He's got some room. And Volpe's run out of bounds just inside the 10 short. That was a big defensive play by Stephen Jordan, who fought off the block of Mike Marasco, impeding Volpe's progress.
Like I say, this is just a running screen. They catch him in a blitz up front. Hey, it's a mismatch. Volpe against Benny Goods. Benny Goods is trying to close the gap from the inside. Stephen Jordan sees that, comes off of the guy that he is covering, and is able to come up and knock him out of bounds for a very little gain.
The outstanding rookie in the Canadian Football League in 1988. Missed most of last year with a serious injury, a lacerated liver, in a game against the Ottawa Roughriders. Big defensive play there, and they'll have to try another field goal. Lamley can kick them from close in as well, and he nails this one from 17 yards out, and so we're back to 23-13. But the illegal substitution almost cost the Eskimos a touchdown as the Lions came close.
Without a doubt, just without a break and a little bit of luck right there, Trevathan could and should have had that touchdown pass in the end zone when he beat him. And you can see Opie there talking to him, trying to say, it's okay, don't worry about it, concentrate, we're going to come back to those plays again. It looks like you've got Enos Jackson in your back pocket as far as being able to beat him. We'll set it up later in the game.
Now he's having words with Marasco, who appeared to miss that block on Jordan, which stopped Volpe short. 3:27 to go, third quarter, and Ron Lancaster now starting to give the gum a little workout because things are tightening up at BC Place Stadium. A 10-point game, 23-13.
Those will be some tired jaws by the time the fourth quarter ends for Ron Lancaster.
In this third quarter, time of possession's been the story. Lions 8 minutes 33 seconds with the football. The Eskimos just 3 minutes, and that is a direct reversal of the first half. Gizmo at his 14-yard line. Eric Starr stops him at the 25 as we join Mark on the sidelines.
Well, Chris, word from the sidelines here is that Danny Barrett was taken out of the game to give him a chance to stand on the sidelines and watch this offense. He's used to throwing to the burner receivers, the deep, fast receivers he had in Calgary, and what he has here are possession receivers, and it's going to take him some time to get accustomed to that. So this is certainly not the start that he wanted, the debut he wanted here in BC. But with the way Kimbrough is playing, he may not get a chance to get back in the second half.
Those numbers for Kimbrough awfully impressive for less than 15 minutes of work. And now Tracy Ham's got to get the Eskimo offense going again. Over the middle, Ellis is wide open at the 43-yard line. And the 7-year veteran has a gain of 18 on the play.
Tracy having all day to throw the ball, stands in the pocket, looks and sees Craig Ellis working behind O.J. Brigance in the zone. O.J. did not follow him across the middle, and it's a good completion and a big completion for Craig Ellis and that Edmonton offense to start to build a little more confidence in them that they can actually keep a drive substantially.
Just 2 catches tonight for Ellis. 2 years ago over 100, but last year his totals were down. Mike Pringle stopped behind the line of scrimmage. You can see Donald Miller at the bottom of the pile, and that's Lee Johnson, a nose tackle let go by the Calgary Stampeders just prior to the start of the season, also in on the play.
That inside to Pringle right there. Again, you see Miller has great anticipation, good speed and strength as he gets upfield. Pringle having a tough time getting it going offensively.
Second down and 10, and Ham rolls left, throwing deep. Sandusky was in behind Ahmad Field. Sandusky doesn't have the speed of Field, but obviously turned the quarterback around, and Ham just overthrew him.
After as many bullets has been fired at Field, that cornerback right now, again, Sandusky does a great job, and he does have him beat by a couple of feet, but again, you see the speed and the ability that Field has on closing on the ball. He shut that gap very quickly.
Well, we talk about possession receivers, but Sandusky in his 7th year shows he still can be a deep threat for the Eskimos. Nevertheless, they're again in a punting situation. Harper to Flutie. And Flutie stopped for a loss by Stephen Jordan. And the Eskimo punt return team has been outstanding tonight. Here's how the scoring's unfolded tonight. It started with that electrifying 75-yard touchdown to Gizmo Williams. But the Lions tied it on the final play of the first quarter. John Volpe with the touchdown. Second quarter, Jim Sandusky a touchdown pass. Continue our summary momentarily as Tony Kimbrough back at quarterback. Hands off to Volpe, and there's no running room there. Leroy Blue plugged the hole. Prior to the end of the first half, Tracy Ham on the 1-yard sneak, 20-7 at halftime. Here in the third quarter, a 27-yard field goal by the rookie Sean Fleming for Edmonton. But that was countered with a field goal by Wayne Lamley of 45 yards. And that's where we stand. 10-point Eskimo lead, but the momentum has shifted in the second half. Kimbrough on second down, going deep, and Matt Clark couldn't haul that one in. That would have been a spectacular catch.
They said earlier, talking to OB, he is their deep threat, and they feel that he can get deep. He is wide open, but you saw right at the last minute the safety, Dan Murphy, coming over and had a chance to make the interception. You got to be able to play the ball on that, and he had a chance for a pick, and he may have turned it around and sent it back the other way. Rich Stubler, the defensive coordinator, has been concerned about Murphy at that safety position, and that shows some of the reason why he's justified.
Dan Quayle apparently has been a little concerned about that safety position too, because the other safety for the Eskimos is Brown, and they've been called the Murphy-Brown position in Edmonton. Here's Eddie Thomas, and the Eskimos with their best field position of this second half, at least to start a drive, are at the 53-yard line of BC. 31-yard kick, that's all for Caravana, and it would seem on the night that they've missed Louis Pisaglia's punting more than his place kicking. Let's see if Tracy Ham can convert this field position. Haven't seen the no-huddle offense tonight for Edmonton, which they used to their advantage in the preseason. Blake Marshall straight up the middle, and Marshall's down inside the 40-yard line, and that's a pickup of 13 for the big fullback out of the University of Western Ontario. The end of the third quarter, with the Eskimos protecting a 10-point lead.
Wednesday. The hottest new musical star, Nigel Kennedy, sets classical music on its ear and plays Vivaldi's Four Seasons the way you've never heard it. Adrian Clarkson presents Nigel Kennedy, The Four Seasons by Antonio Vivaldi, Wednesday.
Donald and Caroline have a secret, and the company is in the dark.
I'm responsible to Edgar for the bottom line. We're also responsible to our shareholders.
Edgar, I honestly believe that in Robin Urquhart's book, we have a potential classic.
Well, quite frankly, I couldn't get past the first chapter.
Well, you're just a salesman. You're not expected to read it.
I'm not prepared to accept cheap remarks like that, especially from someone who's been put out to pasture for the last 20 years.
It's tough being married to the boss. Tune in Executive Stress, Fridays at 4 on CBC Television, Windsor 9.
Experience the best in entertaining and summer fun on the water. New Wave Yacht Charters by the hour, day, or week for 2 to 150 guests. For corporate entertaining, parties, luncheon meetings, and sightseeing, New Wave has your yacht. Try the ultimate vacation. Cruise the Great Lakes. Bareboat or crewed yachts are available by the week or weekend, including timeshare plans. New Wave Yacht Charters has a yacht to accommodate your needs and budget. Call for information and reservations.
Well, the way things have gone in the East tonight, I hesitate to suggest this is the final quarter of football this evening. But we go to the fourth quarter with the Eskimos up by 10. The two Eastern games, in case you're just joining us, both went to overtime tonight. Matt Dunnigan beat his old team. Or Matt Dunnigan won tonight, but his old team didn't. Dunnigan with a win for Winnipeg over Hamilton. The Argos losing in Ottawa, and Ham going deep to Chris Armstrong, overthrowing his man, and a flag down in the Lions secondary.
Now, without a doubt, what I saw on that, this could very easily go either way on that when you got the defense against interference against BC on this place. They held Armstead up right at the last minute. Armstrong had an opportunity to do an out-and-up pattern, and that was why I think the play was overthrown.
Forward pass interference. BC number 13, unintentional. First down, Edmonton.
That's the unintentional call, which means it's a 15-yard penalty against Chris Major. Bob Obilovich, like any coach, wants to win every game, especially a season opener, but there's added pressure because next week it's Toronto, the Grey Cup champions. The week after, the Grey Cup finalists from Calgary are here. So it's a tough schedule to open for BC. Hand rolling right. And he'll keep it. Stopped at the 17-yard line by Eric Starr, who has replaced Mark Mathis in the Lions secondary.
Tracy's showing good speed that time, getting out of the pocket, but and the point is, when he does come out of the pocket that hard with his shoulders turned to the sideline, it's almost impossible for him to get a throw downfield.
Well, the Lions closed the gap with a pretty good third quarter.
Big change right there. You see the time of possession. The BC Lions kept the ball, and as they keep the ball, obviously, it enabled them to put points on the board.
Ham had a 6-yard gain, 2nd and 4, and they give it to Marshall, stopped up by Donald Miller for a loss, and that's a big defensive play for the Lions. Ron Lancaster said today, 2nd, 4, and 5, just give the ball to Marshall and get out of the way. But that time the Lions defended well, and there's the great play by Miller.
Good solid handoff up the field, trying to break it to the outside, but BC's defense is pursuing extremely well. Came up, shut it down, made the tackle, and forced Blake to have to cut back inside where the pursuit was able to make the tackle.
Field goal situation, a 32, check that 27-yard attempt for Fleming. And he misses to the right. It goes out of bounds, just a single point. And so the Eskimos now lead 24-13.
Ask anyone who's driven an Escort lately. They'll tell you that we're not only building great cars, we're creating better ways to buy them. Like the 1993 Escort, 5-door, sedan, and wagon. All 3 models come well equipped with air conditioning, AM/FM stereo, power steering, and more, each for the same low price. It's an easier, better way to buy a car. The 1993 Escort, Quality is job one. It's working.
Sure, I call Jennifer all the time. Golf mostly. She moved to Mars, you know, Pennsylvania. Then she took off for Jupiter, where they have this fabulous little course. Florida. Then it was Venus, Texas.
Bell Long Distance. The people, the network, in place so you can call just about any place, anytime.
Well, she called yesterday. She's moving back home to Alberta.
Because the best reason to call is no reason at all.
On Witness.
To me, the community is dying out.
When the fish disappear, a small village and its people.
I only got grade 8 when I go in school.
Face an uncertain future.
We're finished.
A passage from Burnt Islands, Tuesday on Witness.
Good morning.
Will new blood in the firm
Jerk.
create new rivalries?
This guy's gonna run the office any way R.J. Williams tells him to, over dead bodies if necessary.
And
maybe we shouldn't get married. Maybe we should call this whole thing off.
Dylan Gets Cold Feet. Street Legal now on Wednesday.
We've had 2 overtime games tonight in the CFL. The BC Lions were the Cardiac Kids a year ago, going to overtime 6 times, including twice against the Eskimos. And Tony Kimbrough wouldn't mind buying some extra time for the Lions tonight. He's in relief of Danny Barrett in the second half. And Kimbrough couldn't find anybody there. Well short of the intended receiver, Darren Flutie, as Kimbrough was hit as he threw.
Good job in the Edmonton secondary that time of shutting it down completely. Wanted to hit Flutie on just a quick slant over the middle. Again, Murphy was able to come up, take that away, force Kimbrough to have to tuck the ball down, and that's when the pursuit was able to get to him and force him to throw the ball away.
Second and 10 for the Lions. 35. Here comes the rush. Kimbrough puts it up, and it's through the hands of Enos Jackson. The pass behind the intended receiver, Mike Trevathan. Trevathan has been a popular target for Kimbrough in the second half.
Larry Ruck lines up from the middle linebacker spot outside. He's able to take on one of the blockers from Marasco, and he's able to get through that and still be able to force Kimbrough to throw the ball a little bit behind Trevathan downfield.
Now that wasn't Jim Mills with a little bit of sweater in his hand, was it?
I don't think that was Jim Mills. I mean, the best offensive lineman in the league would never, be caught holding anybody.
12:25 to go as Nevada sends it away. And here's Gizmo. Look out! Henry Williams. And again, it's only Caravana to beat. And this time, Williams doesn't challenge him. He's got the bad hamstring, and I think we saw evidence of it there. Twice he's broken into the open field, and Julio Caravana has stopped him. Flag down on the field. I believe it's against the Lions. A holding call will be declined. But the Gizmo pulled up there. I think he's a little concerned about that hamstring. It was a 42-yard run back after a 38-yard Caravana punt as we join Mark.
Chris, 6 years ago on this very field, James Bell of the Edmonton Eskimos made a tackle that left him paralyzed from the shoulders down. Today, he stands beside me without even a cane. James, standing here watching this game, your former team, is it painful? Does it remind you of that incident?
No, it's very enjoyable, and it's good for me to be able to be back in a situation like this on a different occasion. And it's just good to be here, and the people of Vancouver have really been supporting me through this ordeal, and it's good to be back here.
James, your recovery is miraculous. Can you give us some idea of what you've been through over the last 6 years?
I've been through a lot. I've had a lot of good backing at home. My wife, Cindy, she's supported me through this all, and without her, it would have been very difficult, and a lot of faith. But through it all, I'm enduring it and still going through a lot of trials, but it's working out pretty good.
James, good luck to you. You're an inspiration to a lot of people. Thank you
very much. I appreciate it.
Chris?
Is he ever? To give to Marshall straight up the middle as the Eskimos are knocking on the door. Marshall down to the 16-yard line. And it will be 2nd and 5 as Henry Williams tests out that.
He's over there having a quick conversation with Dr. Boyko just to find out exactly and tell him so that they're on the same wavelength of exactly what's happening out there and what his capabilities are.
This has been plaguing him for some time through the preseason. Ham going deep. And Craig Ellis couldn't bring it in. Just off the fingertips. And the Eskimos are squandering opportunities to put the Lions away.
Plenty of time to throw the ball, and Ellis gets the matchup that he wants against Pedway, one-on-one. Hasn't beaten by a step or two. The ball is just over the thumb and goes through his outstretched hand. Could have been a catchable pass. Craig made certainly a valiant effort for it.
That's a tough catch, but I don't think you can call that an overthrown football.
I've seen him make a lot tougher catches than that.
Here's Fleming again, this time from the 23. Harper did a good job to get that down, and Fleming makes no mistake this time. And so the Eskimos add to their lead. And Fleming is 2 for 3. 27-13 now. And so it is 2 converted touchdowns, the difference in this game. But still plenty of time left.
There's a lot of time. Kimbrough has had an opportunity. He's moved that offense around a little bit. He's getting some positive things to happen, but it's a point that that defense cannot let the Edmonton offense be able to control the time frame right now and keep the ball that long out there on the field. They got to get in there, get 2 and out, get the ball back into Tony's hands, and let him do something with it. He's checking that, got that checklist, making sure of what he should call in certain situations, the defenses that he's seeing out there, and taking a good look because he knows he's only going to get 1 or 2 real good cracks at making something big happen.
You sure that's not fan mail that's come down from the way he's played in the second half? Fleming kicks it off. Again, Field will field it for BC, and he is dangerous. Ahmad Field up to the 48-yard line. That's his best return of this game. Well, we've had plenty of excitement tonight, and it began at Lansdowne Park in Ottawa. The Rough Riders beating the Grey Cup champion Argos in overtime, 53-42, and Tom Burgess made some fans in Ottawa tonight.
What a great start for Ron Smeltzer, the new head coach of the Ottawa Rough Riders, in that game.
And Troy Westwood, the hero, as Winnipeg comes from behind to beat Hamilton 36-33. First down, Lions. Kimbrough. There's a pass for Kevin Thompson, and he almost broke it. His first CFL catch in '92. That's Thompson, the former Surrey junior who is replacing Ray Alexander. And it's a 26-yard gain.
Good throwing lanes up there by that big offensive line by the BC Lions. And he went in there with some authority, not worried about the safety taking a shot. Caught the ball with great confidence and turned it upfield.
We were struck by the physical similarity, Thompson to the man he's replacing, Ray Alexander. Here's Trevathan turning away. Inside the 20 and down at the 15 by the inside linebacker, Dwayne Odoms.
Edmonton that time came with a halfback blitz from the weak side. That puts the slot back Trevathan and the safety Murphy one-on-one. Murphy's got to come out of there, but the one thing he has to do is break down, get under control, and make sure that he doesn't allow Trevathan to do exactly what he did, and that's slide back inside of him.
Lions on the move. Flag goes down. Kimbrough back down at the 25, but it looked like the Eskimos left early. Were they drawn offside?
Leroy Blue is pointing at Marasco over there. As far as he thought, Marasco waggled up to the line of scrimmage, got up there, and then jumped back. And that's what I thought drove him offsides. But again, obviously he was not, and it became offsides against the Edmonton Eskimos.
Ron Lancaster looks at the clock. Lots of time left. 9:04 to go, and it is offside. This is the third possession for the Lions inside the 25-yard line tonight. First down and 5 from the Edmonton 10-yard line. Kimbrough looking, end zone, knocked down. Matt Clark, the intended receiver. Stephen Jordan with the defensive play for the Eskimos. And Kimbrough looks for some help from the sidelines in play selection.
Good selection right there by Kimbrough to buy some time, sprints out to the right-hand side. Willie Pless comes from in linebacker position. He's one-on-one against Marasco, who he sees blocked. He's able to come up and force Kimbrough to throw that ball a little bit before he wants to. Good play by Stephen Jordan.
Here's a critical play. Eskimos showing blitz, but Ruck drops off. Kimbrough was looking for Thompson, who was tied up at the goal line, and it's incomplete.
Great heat from the left side by Benny Goods, as you saw right at the last minute. Larry Ruck came up there, faked that inside blitz, and this is some of the heat that I was talking about coming from that offside. Gets hit by Marasco, but is able to keep his feet and keep pursuing Kimbrough there. Good play by the Edmonton defense.
Bob Obilovich scoring for it on 3rd and 5, down by 14 with 8.5 minutes to go, and you've got to go for it when you're down by 2 touchdowns, don't you?
Big confidence builder for Tony Kimbrough right here to show that he's got faith for him to call this play.
3 receivers to the right. Kimbrough pitches it out. Volpe, touchdown!
And absolutely nobody there to take the pitch man, which happened to be Volpe. The late reaction by Willie Pless was there, but a little too late. Volpe, with the great speed that he had, got the ball into the end zone. What a big play for the BC offense and Tony Kimbrough.
The owner likes it. Lamley adds the extra point, and we might be in for another photo finish on quite a night for the CFL on CBC.
At Mazda, little things like precision map lights and an illuminated driver's door lock are just as important as sophisticated styling. Available V6 power and more headroom and total legroom than either Camry or Accord. The 1993 626 Chronos from Mazda. Because we know you care about the little things too.
I used pressure-treated lumber and still have expensive water damage. Why?
Even treated wood needs Thompson's Water Seal. It penetrates to protect wood, brick, and concrete from water damage. Thompson's, the first name in lasting protection.
This is a place where entrepreneurs, visionaries, built their dreams, fought their battles, and in the end gave rise to a community that looks back on its growing up days and draws on the liveliness of mixed cultures and intrepid characters to spur it on. This is the city of Buckingham, on the western edge of the province of Quebec.
Canadian Wild West tradition for 80 years. The Calgary Stampede on CBC Sports Weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
There's John Volpe. His second touchdown of the game has closed the Lions to within 7.
Here's Dwayne Odoms right here. He's the option guy. As Kimbrough comes out of the line of scrimmage, coming down, he's going to be the man who's going to option off. Take a look. Great play that time by Kimbrough. Reads the option very quickly. If Odoms had done the other job and gone upfield to take the pitch man, Kimbrough's responsibility is to continue with that ball, turn it upfield, and try to get as many as he can on his own.
The left tackle, number 50, Steve Rhoda, Huskers, with another block that sprung Volpe loose. And we're within 7 points here, 27-20. The Eskimos leading with a half of a quarter to go and maybe more. And a flag down on that return. Chris Armstrong brought down by Eric Starr.
Chris, looking back at that kickoff again, I see Gizmo's deep again. Something to me, either as a spectator, as a coach, or something, when he pulls up on
number 96, first down.
That's Rob Davidson with the illegal block.
We can take a look here. Here's Armstrong right here, and there's Big Davison. Got a hold in there, and he actually called it. And the main thing, again, that goes back to Ron Lancaster's theory: do not take the ball out of the returner's hands.
Well, the last couple of possessions for the Eskimos have resulted in 4 points, but they could have put more on the board and put this one away, and now they're in a shootout in the 4th quarter. Here's Blake Marshall, and that's the first time I think we've seen him as a receiver tonight. 50 catches a year ago, and that was part of Ron Lancaster's offensive strategy when he came in to get Marshall the football on those little tosses.
Comes back right before that. Tracy just fakes the hot pass to Craig Ellis to try to draw the defense to the left, and then he throws the running screen to Blake Marshall and gives that ball to him where he can get that momentum and that power going upfield where he can take advantage of some of the smaller tackles in the defensive secondary of the BC Lions.
Well, there's still there's 7:23 left. The Eskimos are under last year's season average, but the injured lineman is Blake Dermott, the veteran offensive tackle. Next Thursday, we've got a beauty for you. Danny Barrett will once again hook up against the Toronto Argonauts. Barrett and the Lions, or will it be Kimbrough against the defending Grey Cup champions and a former BC Lion quarterback, Ricky Foggy? Mark?
Well, Chris, I'm sure you've been accused of being an armchair quarterback at one time or another. Well, I found the real thing right here, the official armchair quarterback, Mr. Healy here, who is the winner of a local restaurant promotion. They allow 4 young winners every game to sit right here in the sidelines. Do you have the best seat in the house?
Most definitely, right here down at Game Field, and I can actually almost put on my runners and jump out there with them.
All right, Sean Healy, you're the armchair quarterback. What's your beef? Has Barrett been what you wanted, or has he been a bust so far?
Well, I'm not exactly sure, but I'll tell you this. I'll almost bank on the Lions coming back in the last minute of the game.
All right, thanks for your time. Chris, I think I'll spend the rest of the game right here. It's a great view and a great seat.
Wow. That's the way to watch a football game, right? But and notice the Lions fans know the script. This is the way it's supposed to happen in BC. They fall behind, catch up, and overtime seems to be part of the equation here.
They've seen this movie before. They know the end of it. We were talking to Castor earlier today. He saw those cheers over there yesterday. He was hoping he would be in a position about this time of the game that he was to be able to go back, sit in those cheers for the next few minutes, and be able to finish the 4th quarter sitting there watching his team be victorious.
Evidence suggests more and more travelers are switching from one airline to another. And the airline they're switching to is this one. Canadian. The dawn of civilized air travel.
Tom Kite shoots for his 2nd major in a row.
Hit it.
But he's up against defending champion Ian Baker Finch and Fred Couples. The British Open on CBC Sports Weekend, Saturday, July 18th.
Hi, I'm Susan Haig, music director of the Windsor Symphony. I hope you'll join us for another great season of wonderful music, from Beethoven and Mozart to famous jazz tunes, Broadway melodies, and Handel's Messiah. There's music for everyone, so subscribe now and enjoy the many advantages of savings in ticket prices and flexible ticket exchange. Just call the Cleary box office at 519-252-6579. We look forward to seeing you.
Hi, I'm Gordon Pinsent, inviting you to meet the Blueberry Man of Butlerville, Newfoundland.
Well, I'm going to tell you, but you're not going to believe it.
The Blueberry Man, Tuesday on Land and Sea.
Looks like Blake Dermott, the offensive tackle, cramped up. He's on the sidelines. I think he'll be okay. He's beside another injured offensive lineman, Trevor Bowles. Down to 7:23 to go, 4th quarter, and the Eskimos up 27-20. Doug Hocking and the Lions defense trying to dig in here. 2nd and short yardage. 2nd and 1. And Ham keeps and has the first down. And Stu Hill takes a shove at Blake Marshall as the old teammates exchange words. Opening game last year saw Calgary beat BC 39-34 in a thriller. Danny Barrett beat the Lions in that one. Tonight, he's on the sidelines as Tony Kimbrough has taken over in relief and has got the Lions close, but now the defense has to do his part as Danny Barrett consults with Kimbrough and awaits anxiously the next Lions possession. Crowd really making noise here. Counting on the defense to get the football back. Short toss to Pringle. And Pringle breaks the tackle and has another first down and more at the 50-yard line. Well, they called this the test day for Mike Pringle as Ron Lancaster gets him his first CFL start. He wasn't number one on the depth chart in the preseason, though.
Not at the beginning. And this time they move him out there, and he hasn't been playing all that much through the whole course of the whole game. They move him out into the slot and put him one-on-one with Hawking, the middle linebacker. And what the youngster didn't do was to move out there quick enough. He allowed Pringle to have too much gap between he and Hawkins, and it came into a big completion.
Ham trying to work the Lions and work the clock. Has Sandusky, who got the 1 foot down, and a first down into the Lions territory at the 46. And Sandusky continues to be the most reliable Eskimo receiver.
Coming at you right in your living room here, you see Sandusky knows exactly being the veteran that he is. Makes it look very nonchalantly that he makes the reception, keeps the 1 foot in before he puts the other foot out of bounds.
Over 100 yards on the night against his old team, the Lions. Tracy Ham and the Eskimos trying to put the Lions away. Reverses his field. Now lets it fire, and there's Craig Ellis inside the 30.
Just great, terrific athletic ability by Tracy Ham that time. He's working with two very young tackles right now for the Edmonton Eskimos. Chris Morris on the right side. The left side has got to be, now as Mike Dumarest is there, and as Tracy breaks back in, he looks over the shoulder. I saw his hand downfield. Was Craig Ellis waving like crazy. Tracy was able to plant the foot, turn his shoulders down, and be able to hit a strike for a big first down and keep this drive alive.
Remember, Kimbrough's numbers are in less than a half, but Tracy Ham's over 300 on the night. First down, give inside Michael Souls, and he fights his way to the 24, 23-yard line. And that's a pickup of close to 5 yards, and Ron Lancaster encouraged by what has been one of the most dangerous series for the Eskimos in the second half.
Michael Souls, what a great addition he is with the Edmonton Eskimos. He's a throwback from anywhere. He can play on any team with any position, and he's just got a great attitude about playing football.
Tracy Ham in the flat. There is Armstrong turning away, turning it up, down to the 2.
Terrific job by Tracy Ham this time. Use Armstrong going to the out, picking on the rookie Star. A good reception this time. Armstrong's able to turn the ball back upfield, pick up a big first down. Just a late night hit. The ball goes loose as the ball hits the ground. No fumble. Little late hit right at the end of the moment by one of the BC defenders.
That was Reggie Johnson, and Ham was up limping a bit. They spotted at the 1. Ham scored on a sneak from this position in the second quarter. He's got Marshall behind him, Pringle and Souls. Marshall gets the call, has the touchdown. The CFL's outstanding Canadian. In 1991, 20 touchdowns, has his first of 92.
Part of the matchup that we talked out earlier coming right at you. Tracy just reverse pivots out, gives to Blake Marshall. Hawking is in there, and what he has to do as a youngster, he lowered his head down. You've got to go, even if you don't want to, and meet that big power tank in the middle of the hole and be able to get your shoulder pads up underneath him and drive him back if it's possible. But you will never be able to stop Blake Marshall tackling down on the angles.
Fleming adds the extra point. And so it's now the Eskimos 34 and the Lions 20. Well, when you're down around the goal line,
just countered out, running behind Pierre Berchevaux, and there was Hawkins right there. That first time could have met him up in the hole, and you got to square him up. It's a good play, good view from the top here. You can see that Hawkins had an opportunity, but at the last minute dropped his head just a little bit, and you can't do that at least when you've only got to get a yard for the touchdown.
If you thought Ali Deed was a sure bet in the Queen's Plate, Marshall from the 1-yard line is just about as safe a bet. Perhaps as important as the 7 points, the time of possession, 4 minutes, 49 seconds. Bob Obilovich and the Lions were without the football. And they've now only have 3 minutes and 24 seconds to go. Once again, down by 2, converted touchdown. Fleming kicks it off. This again is Ahmad Field to the 38-yard line, and Mike Pringle, the running back, was in on the stop.
Chris, I think the one thing we have to say about Fields is that I've got to be truly excited about his enthusiasm about being out there. Even though he's made some mistakes, he's been beaten, but he really does see like he goes chase that ball. He wants the ball. He actually took one away from Eric Starr earlier in the game and wants to return it, and we kind of almost looks like he wants to redeem himself at this point. He's got a great enthusiasm and a great gift of going to the ball very quickly.
Lions sticking with Kimbrough all the way in the second half. He works out of the shotgun and fires high to Darren Flutie, the intended receiver. And the 3-minute warning being given to the benches with the Lions down by a couple of touchdowns.
Ladies, we want to impress you. We really do. We spend just as long getting ready for a date as you do. Showering, shaving, deodorizing, disinfecting, freshening, frizzing. We're moosing now, tripping, preening, you name it. Trouble is, you just can't tell. An hour and a half in the bathroom and we come out looking pretty much the same as we did going in. We just smell a bit better. Dentine, for fresh breath.
We asked the Beaverton bobsled team what they love most about summer. Well, KFC's got something everyone will love this summer. Right now, get a 15-piece bucket of extra tasty crispy or original recipe chicken for just $14.99.
Hey, let's go sit in the shade.
Summertime's always a great time with KFC.
Well, many of the older people that we interview, that I come into contact with, simply don't have the same inhibitions that we have when we're younger. They have nothing to prove. They're not trying to develop an image for themselves. They know who they are. They feel confident in who they are, and they want to share their experiences. And I've been the lucky benefactor.
BC Place Stadium, where the Lions are in a big hole with time starting to run out on them. Tony Kimbrough, second down, 10 yards to go from the BC 37. There's a flag down. Kimbrough fought off the tackle and gets the pass away to Flutie, but this one's coming back. Clearly a holding call. And while the Lions offense is on the field, Tom Mickey, the backup quarterback of the Eskimos, is starting to loosen up.
If I was a betting man, if we're going to bet on Ali Deed as far as the racehorse, I bet you that he won't see too much time on the field itself. He may be just getting bored a little bit on the sideline. He was holding the clipboard a little earlier. Very good quarterback to be able to come in backup situations when he's playing behind a guy like Tracy Hemp. He did a great job over in Winnipeg before he came to Edmonton.
pick up the number of the guilty party on that holding call, but they do push it back, and it's now 2nd and 20. And Kimbrough really has to pull a play out of his hat now. Eskimos drop way back, and Kimbrough aired it out. That's an interception for the rookie Damian Lyons. And Lyons has a big return in mind, but he's cut down at midfield by the center, Ian Sinclair, but that should pretty well do it here in BC with 2.5 minutes to go. The Eskimos have the football back.
Here's a situation that I thought Rich Stubler would do, and we talked about it earlier in today, was the fact that he took Travis Oliver as his DI and put him at a safety position, and then they moved him over to the corner, moved Damian Lyons at the safety position where he felt he had much more depth and much more speed, and obviously he wasn't happy with Dan Murphy's play earlier in the game, and he made that move to the DI, and it seemed to pay off very big with that interception.
There's Brian Walling, one of the Eskimo running backs, who was out of the game now with a first-degree sprain of his shoulder. And we're told he'll be out 2 to 4 weeks. So they have Chris Johnstone on reserve, and he'll likely be activated in Walling's place. But as the Eskimos control the football now with 2:24 to go, clearly kept the story tomorrow in Vancouver is Flutie's success last night for Calgary, and Danny Barrett struggling tonight. We're big Barrett fans, but clearly he has not grasped this Lion offense as quickly as Flutie's adapted in Calgary.
And it's not so much that I didn't think he had a chance to adapt the offense, because that was part. We'll get it right after this play and see the effort of Blake Marshall, just working and working, trying to pick up the yard. This is the toughest time in the world for a defensive team to play, when you know that a guy like Blake Marshall is going to get the ball. And the wonderful thing for Blake is that he wants it, and he wants to hit people, and he wants to run over people. He hasn't had a lot of contact as far as in a lot of carries through the course of this game, and he wants to make up and make some physical play out there until the end of the 4th quarter. But getting back, you know what, as we were saying, Chris, the point was not Barrett understanding the BC offense, but he just had a tough time playing against the Edmonton defense tonight.
Give again to Marshall, and he pounds it right up the middle for a first down. As we were talking this morning about Marshall, he's going to be tackled, but he's going to hurt the guy that gets in his way.
You better bow your neck and get your weight up underneath you if you're going to make a tackle on this guy, or else he will make you hurt. When you wake up tomorrow, you'll try to figure out what the number of the truck was that ran over you.
Number 22. Minute 22 to go. And Tracy Ham hands it off to Pringle, who almost broke that one, but he is marked down at the 27-yard line. And while we talk about quarterbacks, we started the telecast referring to the added pressure this year on Tracy Ham as the Eskimo quarterback, and he's responded nicely in the opener.
Had some trouble earlier, but the one he stays in there and works and works and works. It's very tough to get Tracy off the field, but in the course of when he does come off the field, either with talking to Bill Dietrich, the offensive coordinator upstairs, or having conversations with Ron Lancaster, it seems to calm him down and give him a little bit better knowledge of what's going on, because there's 6 other eyes out there looking at the whole field for him.
2nd and 5. They took too much time. Ham was trying to work the clock and worked too much that time. 51 seconds to go. And it's automatically a loss of down. They'll go to 3rd down, and Sean Fleming comes on. And that's why Tracy's upset. Not a mistake that will cost you tonight, but it's a mistake you don't want to make nonetheless.
You don't want to have anything to do with time counts violations as a mistake. You know, Ron Lancaster, of course, he found out about that in an Ottawa game last year, and at this time it didn't hurt him so badly, but you get a chance for the young kicker to go out there and build up some of his confidence again. Been kicking the ball very well tonight.
34 yards out. And Fleming's through, so both Fleming and Lamley, the rookie kickers in their CFL debuts, have done well, and I'm sure Fleming just acknowledged some family and friends up in the stands. Kicking on home turf in a way. he's had a pretty good debut. Well, this is an injury we don't often see. It's been a tough night for the Lions, and we hope she's okay.
It's been a tough night for a lot of people out there. The Edmonton Eskimos have lost a few people. We're not exactly sure what the story is with Blake Dermott. And then all of a sudden you see a shoulder injury with Brian Walling. The wonderful thing, if there's anything, we'll get it right after this play.
There's Matt Clark with the catch as he dances at the 50. That's a first down for the Lions as the clock ticks down here. Bob Obilovich told us yesterday this is a work in progress. Kimbrough downfield. There's Thompson. Shakes off one tackle at the 37-yard line. The Canadian receiver with his second catch of the game. 37-20. Eskimos.
Even late in the game, this is a great confidence builder for a young receiver to be out there and catch the ball in traffic.
Tony Kimbrough in the flat. Flutie hangs on as he falls out of bounds. And the Lions are out of reach here, but they'd like to work the 2-minute drill to effectiveness and perhaps add some points on the board.
Well, at the same point, defensively, Ron Lancaster wants to see that defense stand up and take that ball away from him. Don't lay down and play dead on this thing and let them score an easy touchdown when you have a chance to put them away. You've got to continue to play this thing for 60 minutes.
Does Barrett or Kimbrough start next week against Toronto? That'll be a question Bob Obilovich has to address. I bet it's Barrett, but there'll be some fans talking about number 11, and here goes Kimbrough again. And he's going to step out of bounds with 7 seconds to go.
The comforting thing, I think, for Obi as a head coach is that you do have a guy that is a very quality quarterback in Danny Barrett. The comforting thing, as I said, is somebody that can come in here as a backup, and it didn't look like he lost anything. He gained things tonight, but if that happens to happen again, it'll be a perfect situation for the BC Lions to know that you have that confidence in your second-string quarterback to get the job done for you.
First down Lions in what should be the final play of this game. Try to put it in the end zone. Got a man open. Flutie, touchdown. Well, we're used to seeing the Lions score in the dying seconds. That one doesn't mean too much, but it is a little bit of consolation.
The consolation being that Tony Kimbrough and his offensive team got down there, and these guys kept working for him. They continued to work for him the whole thing. Just a little corner route, catches number 17, Eddie Thomas, moves him to the inside to the post, and then breaks it back to the corner. And a great throw by Kimbrough on that thing to be able to make a score, even if it's in the dying seconds, to restore the confidence in this BC offensive team that they can get the job done, and they do have the guns to do it.
Well, this should be the final play of the game. The convert attempt, which will be a 2-point attempt for the Lions. Kimbrough can't find anybody. Down he goes. And that seals this one for the Edmonton Eskimos. The final score, 37-26. And Ron Lancaster, who wasn't sure why all of the pundits weren't liking his football team, is reassured with their performance tonight.
Well, it's a terrific situation. As an old cliche said, it wasn't pretty, but it was a win, and that's what you have to have. It's much easier to correct mistakes, both offensively and defensively, from the Edmonton Eskimos' point of view after a win as opposed to after a loss. For the BC Lions side at this time, there is a lot of unanswered questions, and Coach Obilovich has got to be scratching his head. Murray Pesams has got to be scratching his head. Even more so, Danny Barrett is in there, sitting there trying to figure out exactly what may have went wrong with him today.
Eskimos have 5 days to get ready for Saskatchewan. Next up for the BC Lions, the Grey Cup champions in Toronto. But tonight, the final score, 37-26, the Eskimos over the Lions.
What does the future hold for us? Will there be enough jobs? What kind of air will our children breathe? Will our nation still exist? For 40 years,
How far would you extend that? Just watch me.
Canadians have counted on the experience of Canada's most watched news source. The National with Peter Mansbridge, Canada's news leader.
I can only hope that when my children are old enough to leave home, that I will be able to let them go, to cut those strings, to give them the kind of support that they need as they go out on their own, but just to be confident that the values that I've given them, the love and all the guidance that I've given them over the years will stand them in good stead. My parents did that for me, and I hope that I'll be able to do that for my children.
Road to Adventure, television that travels, Saturday at 6:30. A Canadian Wild West tradition for 80 years. The Calgary Stampede on CBC Sports Weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
Hi, everybody. No doubt summer is here, and you're probably making weekend plans. Well, why not make On the Road Again part of those plans? We're repeating our entire season for the summer only, Saturday night at 7 o'clock.
Warning. This.
Ray, you're a girl drink drunk.
And this.
I broke up with you. I told a lot of other people. I just never got around to telling you.
Are too hot for Thursdays. Kids in the Hall on a late summer night fling, Saturday.
I'm telling!
Laugh in the face of adversity.
Free trade. Anything the Americans would sign without an argument can't be good for us.
Take it standing up.
It's the true north, strong and free, where men are men and moose are nervous.
From Montreal, Saturday.
Welcome back to BC Place Stadium in Vancouver, where the Edmonton Eskimos have opened their 1992 season on a winning note, defeating the BC Lions 37-26. The most valuable player of the game, Edmonton quarterback Tracy Ham, with more than 300 yards passing and 2 passing touchdowns. Here he is at his scrambling best late in the fourth quarter. Ham looking for a receiver, scrambling, looking downfield, finally spots one of his favorite targets, Craig Ellis, who goes down, and that play led to Blake Marshall's plunging touchdown that really salted this game away for the Eskimos late in this game. Well, 37-26 the final in this game. The CFL on CBC returns next Thursday night from Toronto when the Argonauts play host to the BC Lions at 7 Eastern Time. Tomorrow night in baseball at the Dome, Oakland visits the Blue Jays at 7:30 start. Saturday, the Calgary Stampede semifinals on Sports Weekend.
Friday, the Toronto Blue Jays and the Oakland A's on CBC.